All right, we are back to the framing episode. This will be part 3, and we're gonna start framing in windows. So I'm gonna make a bunch of window boxes, and there's a lot of debate over how to properly do windows. And I put a lot of thought in this. Do you caulk the bottom? Do you tape the bottom? Do you not caulk the bottom? Do you not tape the bottom? And my goal for this place is for it to be maintenance free and for it to make it a long time without any issues. So I've thought a lot about this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 3 degrees slant on my bottom sill board of my window frame, and then I have some flexible rubber sill that I'm going to install, and then I'm going to leave that bottom flange of the window uncaulked and untaped. And the theory behind that is that if your window ever fails and water gets through to the sill, it will run out. It'll run out, get on the outside of your house wrap, and it'll run down the wall, and you won't have any issues. Obviously, if you could figure out that your window was cracked and leaking, you'd want to replace it. However, wood windows are going to fail over time, and even vinyl windows, if you're in a climate where it gets down really cold, freezing, and then really hot, those windows over time are going to get brittle, and they will crack in those bottom sill in the corners. I mean, it might take a long time. It might not happen in my lifetime, but my goal for this place is for it to last long term, and I'm not worried about losing any efficiency by not taping that bottom seam. I put a lot of thought into this. I'm not saying it's the right way. I'm not saying it's the wrong way not to tape it, but this is the decision I've made, and that is the reasoning behind it. It's because if my window ever fails, it will hit that, it will go through the bottom of the window, hit that rubber seal, and with that 3 degrees tilt I put on that bottom sill plate, it will run outside, and I'm going to run that rubber sill that I bought over the house wrap, and therefore it'll run down the side and escape, and I won't experience any rot. So that's the theory. So that's what I'm going to do. And I got my first one made. I just wanted to make one just to make sure it was going to work. So I have 20 windows that are 3x5, so I'm going to mass produce these boxes, and then I'll screw them in and secure them to the frame once I get them all made. But I put a mark down here so you can see the tilt that I'm going to have towards the outside. So you can see that line right there. That's how much of a tilt I'm going to have to the outside. It's not much, but it's enough that any amounts of water that get through there will make it to the outside. You know, a lot of guys are like, there's no way water's going to get behind there, and I agree. I absolutely agree. If you caulk and tape your window, there's no rain, wind-driven rain, that's going to get behind that window. Where it comes into play is if your window, the window itself fails. So we're thinking long term here, not just right away, because I agree with everybody that says, you know, there's no way water's going to get through there, and if you have your house properly insulated, all that, and there's not going to be moisture forming in your walls and all that stuff. So this is merely for a long-term solution to protect against window failure that you might not notice. And you know, a lot of these windows come with weep holes, which I hate windows with weep holes, because if like if you live in the country and you got leaves falling and, you know, dust and dirt, that can get in there and plug those weep holes, and then if you do have a crack in your vinyl, it's gonna make it through to that sill. So that's the reasoning behind why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm not telling anybody that's watching this to do that or not to do that, but I think it's a pretty good you know, pretty good thought process when you're thinking long-term on your house. And I plan on living here unless God changes our plans. This is probably where I'm going to live for, you know, a long time. So I want it to last, and I don't want to have to worry about water infiltration if my window fails. This is going to be an office right here in our out just on the edge of our bedroom. Got those two windows framed in. But let's talk about framing in windows on a post frame building. The thing you have to be conscious about is the ribs of your steel, which are 9 inches on center. So what I do is I start at the edge I know I'm going to start my steel from, and I mark in basically that starting rib. The center of it's 3/4, so I make a mark 3/4 in from here, and then I put a screw in there so I can attach a tape measure. And then I go down along the edge and mark with X's 9 inches on center. So you can see them all here. And I do that all the way down because I'm going to have several windows in here. And then once I get all those marked, I can start laying out my windows, and then I'll mark them where I want them, and then if those ribs end up in my J channel, I can move the window one way or the other so those ribs do not end up in my J channel, which will cause problems sealing up your window. So that's how I do it. Mark 3/4 inches in from where I start, put a tape measure, and then mark my 9 inch on center all the way down, lay out my window. I can see where that rib's going to end up, and then I can adjust my window left or right accordingly. So we're going to go ahead and get these windows in. I know the height that I determined for these windows is that third girt up. I'm just going to screw the top of my window box into that, and that actually works out pretty good. So it's about, I think it's about 21, 22 inches off the floor of the bottom of the window, and so there'll be like, let's see, there'll be like 27, 28 inches above the window. But that's the way I like them, and it actually works out perfect. If I raised them up any, you know, I would typically put them 2 foot below, 2 foot above, but if I raise them up any, then it's gonna cause a lot of extra work in notching that gird out, and then I would actually end up having to put something above that to screw my steel in. So this will work perfect on the 3 I did. I'm pretty excited how it worked out, and we'll go ahead and get going on these. All right, so I had 2 windows for the master bedroom. That's what I'm working on now. And just to show you how I figure it out, I'll show you. So I kind of knew where I wanted the windows. So I went ahead and marked them. And this here is the edge of the one window. And you can see that the ribs are quite a ways away. And then here's the other side. Ribs are far away. However, on this one, this is the edge of the window, and then my J-trim will come over a little bit. So this rib would have been in the way, so I opted to move the window 2 inches over. So this side of the window went from here 2 inches over. There was my original mark over here, and now it's here. This one would have been fine either way, but since I moved that side, I got to move this over. So that just gives you an idea. Like if you have a problem, you can move the window one way or the other. That way you won't end up with a rib in your J-trim, which would give you problems when you're flashing everything. All right, now that we have them framed in, we need to cut these out of both windows, and then we need to patch in some boards right there and put a 2x6 across the bottom to tie that together. So we got to put a 2x6 across the bottom on both of these, cut the middles out, and then fill those all in with 2x6 so the window, house wrap, and tape all have something really solid to hang on to. And as you can see at the top, That's why I lined up my top board with that one, so I wouldn't have to do that on the top. That reduces the number of pieces of wood, lumber I need, and then just simplifies it. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to cut those out and patch in all these other pieces. I went ahead and test fitted this window in here just to make sure it fit all right before I got going on a bunch of others. So obviously this is going to come back out, but here's what it's going to look like from the inside. That's the 3x5. It's the inside and the outside. And I'm really impressed with these windows from Crestline. They're from Menards. They're a line that Menards carries. These are the 350s series. I got single hung, and the reason I got single hung is because I've always got double hung in the past, and they just cause problems. I don't like how when you get a double hung window, the top slides down over time, and it's just more parts that can break, and we only ever open the bottom. And as far as cleaning goes, honestly, for as much as we clean the outside of the windows, I can clean them from the outside with a ladder. But these are really quality windows. I was actually pretty impressed when I received them, the way they were packaged. All the corners were protected of the vinyl. Very well packaged, so I was really impressed with that. And I got all this casing pre-installed for the thickness of my wall, which is awesome because now I don't have to make it. It's attached around the vinyl and it's done. So all I got to do is build my trim for the outside and we're good to go. But you know, maybe I'll change my mind, but at face value, the way they were packaged, the quality of them, just looking at the ones that I've got out, I like them a lot. So I'm pretty excited about it. Every day we have hit Friday again, September 6th. Been framing in windows last couple days. Yesterday I didn't get out here till 1, but got quite a few windows done. I have about six left, and then just back in and then pull up. Anyway, didn't get out here till about 1 yesterday, but got some work done. I think I got 6 windows left other than the garage, so we're trying to finish those up and then get 3 sides of this wrapped so I can start putting in windows. But all right, we got all the windows and doors framed in. So we got a window there, that's gonna be like a mud room. Got 3 big skylights up there that are in the upper like loft area. Front entrance, we'll have a peaked entrance with a covered porch, 2 big windows, matching windows up above. Big window here, slider that walks out onto the covered porch, 2 more big windows, big skylight windows up above, bedroom, and a nice office, another bedroom up there. And we got master bedroom. That's the office is attached to the master bedroom. Master bath goes through here. That's a window above the tile shower. And then there's going to be laundry in our closet. And that's going to be guest room and bathroom up there. So we got all those framed in. And we're going to start putting up some house wrap. I have 2 more windows on this side of the house where the garage attaches. One right up there and one right up there, but I want to wait till I get my truss up to make sure it's not going to be in the way. I don't think it is. I marked it, but I think it'll be easier just to do it after, frame it in after, and then I'll wrap all this side after the garage is done. So guess it's time to get after some house wrap. Fun.